Hello and welcome to Falcon TV. Today is Friday, June 5th, 2020. I'm Jada with Autumn along with the rest of the FTV crew.
With more places opening up, people are wondering, can you get the virus from a surface? Well, as lockdowns lift, many more Americans are going to come in contact with surfaces that other people have touched, like doorknobs, tabletops, shopping bags, and much more. And people are finding these situations a little confusing. Early scientific advice seemed to encourage people to treat surface contact with the utmost seriousness. Most recently, research has suggested that few people get the virus this way. The main transmission mechanism instead appears to be close contact with someone who has the virus, like talking face to face or sitting nearby in an indoor setting. Those situations expose people enough of a viral load to become infected. One thing to understand that merely touching virus particles isn't enough to become infected. You have to touch many particles, then touch your face. In the spectrum of risk, you should worry more about face-to-face conversations and extended time indoor spaces with people outside of your household. It's not about being carefree, but careful and cautious. You can play catch or press the elevator button. Just wash your hands and be mindful.
Coronavirus cases continue to spread in parts of the American South and West in the past weeks as experts warn that packed protests could exacerbate the pandemic. The early parts of the American coronavirus outbreak struck hardest in the dense metropolitan areas on the coasts, but the last few weeks have seen wider spread in inland states. In total, the U.S. has over 1.8 million cases and over 106,000 deaths, by far the most of any country in the world. The map shows each state's change between the 7-day average of new cases in the past week versus the previous week. In addition, health officials have expressed concern about a renewed outbreak stemming from the nationwide protests against the police killing of George Floyd. CNN chief medical correspondent Dr. Sanjay Gupta said that the coronavirus could spread at protests depending on factors like mask wearing, how closely people gathered, and how long people stayed in close contact. It is a contagious virus. People being outside and people wearing masks, people moving by each other more quickly may reduce the likelihood of significant exponential growth. But that's still the concern. Oklahoma State football player Amen Bemiga said in a tweet that he tested positive for COVID-19 after attending a protest. He also tweeted, "Please, if you are going to protest, take care of yourself and stay safe." Entering the 6th month of the virus, public health officials are more clearly seeing what stops the virus from spreading and what doesn't. On the other hand, warmer weather is unlikely to stop the spread of the coronavirus, Dr. Francis Collins, the director of the National Institutes of Health, said in a blog post. Climate only would become an important seasonal factor in controlling COVID-19 once a large portion of people within a given community are immune or resistant to infection, Collins wrote, citing experts in infectious disease, transmission, and climate modeling. We'll obviously have to wait a few months to get the data, but for now, many researchers have their doubts that the COVID-19 pandemic will enter a needed summertime lull.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says that an experimental coronavirus vaccine is being developed by Moderna and will enter the last stage before potential governmental approval in July. They are preparing the sites for the phase 3 study, Fauci says. The real business end of this all is phase 3 trial that starts the first week in July. Phase 3 trials are the final stage in a drug's development before the FDA considers approving it for mass production to the general public. The public health official noted that the decision to begin working on the vaccine is bold and a potential dangerous one. The company and the federal government are doing this at risk, Fauci says, regarding to the government's decision to start manufacturing dosages of the drug, even though there is a possibility that they may not work. They are going to start manufacturing doses way before we know whether the vaccine works. That's going to be done as we are testing the vaccine, Fauci explained. We may know whether it's effective by November or December. By that time, we should have 100 million doses. He also added that by early 2021, the goal would be to have a couple hundred millions, more than those dosage available to the public. By most estimations, at least 70% or more Americans need to be vaccinated against SARS-CoV-2 to develop an effective herd immune and eliminate the virus in the US population.
Seniors and juniors, if you haven't yet, you can go to the Google form in your email and vote today too for Prom King and Queen 2020. The announcement of the winners will be mentioned later today at 5 p.m.
So for me and the rest of the Falcon TV crew, stay safe, stay clean, and stay quarantined. Bye everybody!